I'm gonna be the next Hokage.
What's up, guys? I'm CJ.
I'm Hunter.
And today we're talking about the cumulative 7 episodes of Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yeah, what we think so far.
And I think it's fucking badass.
Yeah, it's definitely one. I've been constantly just impressed with Crunchyroll originals in general. Like, if you haven't yet, go watch God of High School, go watch Tower of God, and watch Jujutsu Kaisen if you haven't yet. There's 7 episodes out so far. They come out every Friday. Every Friday, so there's something to look forward to at the end of the week, every single time. But yeah, Jujutsu Kaisen is probably, I have a feeling, even over just 7 episodes and what I've read so far in manga, it's probably going to be one of my favorite anime of all time.
Oh, it's already
Yeah.
top
Yeah. Yeah.
4?
Yeah, the manga
5.
alone has broken so many records already with how many sales and stuff they've had.
Isn't that why they made it a show in the first place?
Well,
because it sold
they
so
make it a
much?
Crunchyroll original because it is successful in the manga. But yeah, just all the characters really. The whole backstory for Eugene, who is the main
character.
What the show was kind of built around. He has to eat all of Sukuna's fingers, which is a massive. He's the strongest curse.
1,000 years ago, he was the strongest being, I guess, in existence. He had 4 arms, so he's got 20 fingers. Mm-hmm. And the show kind of starts off with Eugene being a regular high school student, but he's already sort of stronger and faster than most people.
Yeah. They show him like going and doing like these physical
ball throw, like the Olympic ball toss.
I don't know what it's called.
Yeah, I don't
but
know.
he kind of goes and shows off because this other guy thinks he's weak and can't do it, and that's how they kind of introduce.
Well, no, remember it was they're in the Occult Club is really how it starts out with his friends, and
I'm talking about how they show his strength.
I know, but the coach comes in and tries to get him to join the thing. It says if I beat you, you have to join my club.
Okay. Yeah.
And so when he goes out there, I mean, so I can just throw this any way I want to. He's like, yeah, and just like baseball through that motherfucker.
Yeah.
And it was over.
Yeah. So he for some reason already has like just natural, like even when Megumi, the first year, so Megumi.
It's the first curse sorcerer that you run into, and he's
the first Jujutsu sorcerer that you run into.
Yep.
He's one of the first years at Jujutsu High.
Yep. He's got some pretty cool powers. He like summons these wolves.
He summons like dogs.
Yeah.
And
cool.
Not just dogs. He summons like things that can fly,
birds,
a snake,
weird.
all kinds of stuff using cursed energy. And cursed energy, so the whole basis of like where their energy and like power comes from is like bad omens almost. Like curses are born in like areas
human
that
emotions.
Yeah. Like an abandoned high school or abandoned hospital could birth a curse.
Cemeteries, they said,
almost like demon type thing, because people fear that area, and that energy
bring it to life.
Yeah, brings like curses and demons alive. But they also use that energy, like your hate and your anger, to be able to use curse energy.
Right.
To like.
And there's different levels of curses. You got the lower levels that are really easy, and then you got special grade curses, which Sukuna, which is the guy who Yuji's eating the fingers for, or not for, to try.
Well, we should give some backstory of why he eats the finger. If you haven't seen it, in episode 1, his friends get caught up in this. So they're an occult group. They're just this little, just a little club in high school.
Nerds.
Just nerds trying to figure out like, paranormal activity type stuff. And because of that, Yuji finds this cursed object, which is one of Sukuna's fingers.
Mummified paper.
Not knowing what he's getting his whole friends into. And they end up almost dying and in danger because if something has a lot of cursed energy, it actually pulls in a lot of curses into that area.
And she actually unwrapped that paper, and there's like a beacon that went off. Everybody.
It's not. She wasn't. It's not supposed to be easy to unwrap those cursed objects, but it was the seal was so old that it was easily peeled away. Yeah. But to save everyone, his friends, he decides to eat the finger which there's like a 1 in a million
That's
chance
what they said, yeah, 1 in a million.
that he would not just immediately die.
Yep. I guess that latent ability where he's just stronger than everybody that allowed him to survive, and he now from 1 finger alone he got the Sukuna's power. I guess
He is
like a
Sukuna.
yeah, it's like
He's his
Sukuna's
vessel.
trapped in his the
vessel.
his vessel.
Yeah. So he actually it's almost like a multiple personality thing. Like he can turn into Sukuna.
But
He
while he's
opens up
Sukuna,
these
he has
eyes
no control.
underneath his eyes, and now it is Sukuna that you're talking to and everything. But he can subdue Sukuna's personality and his abilities.
Seems fairly easy to him.
Yeah.
Sukuna's just a badass. He's my favorite, even though he's the villain. I love him. Just got that personality that I like.
Yeah. So after doing that, now he is.
Able to fight off the curses that are endangering his friends.
Mm-hmm.
And
But now the whole issue is Jujutsu High and all the sorcerers. It's like a mixed bag of some people in the higher ups and everyone want to just immediately kill Yuji.
to get rid of that 1 finger.
Yeah, just because he is now basically a curse.
Yep.
So they want to exorcise him. But at the same time, no one else can be the vessel. They haven't had a vessel come up in never that could handle it. So if Yuji dies with all of Sukuna inside him after eating all the fingers, that means Sukuna will die.
Yeah.
So now he's set up to be just killed.
The whole premise of the show from episode 1 says that you're gonna die. You get the choice of whether or not you die now or you try to do some good.
By eating all the fingers, and then once you've eaten all the fingers,
They'll kill you.
you die. So
Kind of fucked up.
Yuji decides to eat all the fingers. So far he's only eaten 2. And he's starting to learn how to use his cursed energy and all that. There's no prior experience with that. When there are these like major families that these people are like born into that control cursed energy, and that are like anyone else that can't control cursed energy is almost lesser than them in the Zenin family. So yeah, he ends up enrolling in Jujutsu High, and that's when you really get to meet Gojo.
We meet Gojo in the first one when they're fighting on the bridge.
Yeah, but you get to really see.
Remember, he says, "Give me 10 seconds with Sukuna."
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Like they've done a really good job in the show so far of mixing in comedy
and action
and like badassery.
Like definitely Gojo Sensei is most badass I've seen so far. He just seems to be the strongest. I remember him making a couple comments. He's like, "Well, I could just go kill the higher ups right now, and this will all be over." But you're just like, what?
And like his main like hobby is like he'll go and just get souvenirs or little food from Tokyo or something, and then while his students are fighting like curses and stuff, he's really funny. But he's got the biggest flex.
Oh yeah.
But without looking down or putting down even the bad guys, he has like the biggest like his power is just the biggest flex. Like in the middle of a fight, just goes and grabs Yuji from the school and brings him back so he can Yuji can watch the fight and learn about domain expansion, which is
something you need to watch the show to understand.
Yeah, special grade curses and really powerful Jujutsu sorcerers can create their own world that basically just amplifies
You
their
can't get
abilities.
out unless... I think he said it's very rare for anybody to be able to break out. And the only way to get out is if yours is more powerful than the domain you're trapped in.
If you're in that curse's domain and you do your own domain expansion, if it's more like a cleaner domain or
I can't remember
like
exactly what he said.
Just technically better domain, it'll overpower the other domain.
You gotta watch episode 7 to see Gojo Sensei's domain. It was insane.
Yeah.
He wears a blindfold almost all the time, and he takes it off to do it, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
His
domain is called Infinite Void. I mean, we can talk about what it is. I mean, if you're watching this, just know there's going to be spoilers.
Spoiler
I mean, we've already told you a lot, but he had his power, like Gojo, his like main thing is infinite void. And when you're in his domain, you feel and experience everything around you.
He says a quote, it's like, when you feel everything and know everything at the same
anything.
time, you can't do anything with it. And I remember him saying that he's super fast, like he's so fast, but what really happens is everything around him slows down.
Well, he kind of manipulates the space around it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that he manipulates space and time, but he can control, like, the space around him. So, like, there's a part in episode 7 where one of the bad guys thinks he hits him with all his might.
Gojo.
But it just stops, like, right before getting to him. And it's not that you can't touch him, it's that as you get closer to him, you slow down.
To the point of, like, not moving.
Yeah, to the point where it's so slowly that there's no movement.
But he can
eye.
almost, but he can control it to that because he touched his
Yeah,
hand.
he can.
He's like, let me
He
hold
can
your
control,
hand.
but he can like make it where you think you hit an object, but you didn't hit him at all.
Nope.
No scratch, nothing.
Pretty badass. I wouldn't want to fight this
Yeah,
man.
and then the little joke where he holds the guy's hand.
Oh, you're making me nervous too.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And then he just shits on the guy, just beats the crap out of him.
Just takes his pants down and fucks him.
I don't know about that, but
It's badass. So
there's a lot. I mean, we're talking about episodes 1 through 7 here, and I know there's going to be some stuff that we forget, and if there's some aspects you want to talk about, feel free to comment in the comment section on our YouTube. But we just wanted to do this episode to kind of catch up, kind of our thoughts so far in the show, so now we can start every week putting out like our impressions as the episodes come out. Basically.
Yeah. So much happens within one episode, and they're 20-minute episodes, so it's really well illustrated, well drawn. The animations, we both read the manga, and it's one of the only animes that I've actually gotten into that they stick pretty good to the manga.
Yeah.
They don't deviate.
There only to be like 7 episodes, it goes to about chapter 14
About 14.
at most in the manga, and they're doing a really good job at keeping all the detail in there and not skipping anything important. So if you've read the manga and you were considering watching the show and didn't know if it was going to be as good, it just makes it even better.
Yeah.
Because now you get to see it in color, and you get to see it fully animated, and you really see how badass it is once they like animate it.
Completely agree.
Yeah, but definitely vice versa. If you've watched episode 1 through 7 so far,
Completely
and you've
worth
thought
the
about
read.
going to watch going to read the manga, do it.
Because there's always stuff that you miss.
Mm-hmm.
Even
Yeah.
if you do it, read it first, watch it, you're like, oh shit, that's awesome. I didn't remember that. Or if you watched it, like I watched the first 6 episodes before I even read any of the manga, and I went back and read it, and I was like, well, that makes a little more sense now.
Yeah, because especially when in the manga, you can go at your own pace.
Yeah.
And you can read, like, you really notice all the little details and everyone's personalities and, like, their abilities and what they've gone through to even end up at the school or... but vice versa, if you, like CJ said, if you watch the show, it even brings out even more detail of, like, 'cause you can't really feel how powerful they are until you watch the animation and you see, like, how crazy Gojo is.
Oh yeah, is that out of this world
Yeah.
crazy?
Yeah.
But definitely, if you haven't watched it at all and you're watching this video for the first time trying to decide, don't think about it. Just go click it, watch it.
Go watch it. With only 7 episodes out in the manga, of course, I think there's like 158 chapters in the manga, something
be
like that.
intimidated.
Something like that. But if you're looking for a new anime to watch, this is going to be one of your favorite of all time. Especially if you like just badass action and
Some humor thrown in.
yeah, it's not over the top with humor
Not at all.
either. It's not super poppy and
Not kiddie.
yeah, you don't have to worry about. There's no fan service if you have to worry about that. There's no, I don't think there's any at all.
No.
Like, it's not all about like big tits or anything like that.
Tick old bitties.
Yeah, it's very.
It's not High School DxD.
One of the to me, it's one of my favorite intros too. Like the animation that they do for the intro.
Yeah, it's cool. He's on the bus with the water.
Yeah.
And the fish. I like the outro. Every time.
Yeah.
Like it's the poppy dance moves, and I'm just I
They
gotta
really
dance
like.
with it.
I don't know how we can say this enough. They really hit the mark on everything.
Oh yeah, it's.
If you are really
start to-
into intros and outros on episodes, go watch it. If you're into badass fights, go watch it. If you're into like a little bit of comedy and like stuff like that, they
Go
throw
watch
that
it.
in there too.
If you're into religious and like occult and supernatural shit, go watch it.
Yeah.
Pretty much, go watch it.
Yeah, yeah. If you haven't watched it, you're wrong. We're not wrong.
We're wrong for not reading more of the manga already.
Yeah, yeah. As soon as I watched, I think it was episodes.
5.
Yeah, up to
I started
episode
at 5.
5, I went and binged like.
Subscribe to Shonen Jump app.
Yeah,
and started reading.
Yeah, I've read up to I think it's like chapter 53 so far, and the show only goes to like we said earlier, chapter 14 for the show. And I thought it might ruin it for me because I already know what's going to happen when these episodes come out, but no, not at all. It makes me even more excited when the episode comes out because I want to see how cool it is when it's animated and color and just it's awesome.
It's awesome.
I have heard some people say that they've watched the first like 1 or 2 episodes and they thought it was a little slow, but
It's slow for like the first 10 minutes.
give it a chance. It's like any anime really. Like they have to set it up in the first episode or 2 before they really get into the nitty gritty of anything.
Yeah,
So-
but it happens fast. Mm-hmm. They give it 10 minutes and you're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. But that's all we're going to say today about it. That's our thoughts on episodes 1 through 7. I know we're going to miss a lot of stuff in there.
It's a lot
There's a
to
lot
cover.
of detail, and we're not going to get it all in.
We're
But
also
when-
trying to keep the video kind of not 30 minutes long.
Yeah,
Because we
yeah,
could easily talk about this for 30 minutes.
This could have been a podcast episode of like an hour of us going through every detail, which we're not going to do that to you yet. But make sure to hit that notification bell, comment, subscribe, and like I said, we're going to be posting our impressions of each episode as they come out. So
From now on.
watch episodes 1 through 7, and then look out for our video on episode 8. We'll see you next time.
See you guys.